This is a 2019 Nissan Kicks. Nissan's offering in the very small, subcompact, super ultra urban assault microscopic young person vehicle category segment. I'm not exactly sure that's how Nissan refers to it, but I think you might have understood a couple of words in that sentence. Alright, so pricing for the 2019 Nissan Kicks starts at $18,298 for the S trim. The SV, which is one notch above, starts at $21,298, and I believe that's the smartest option of the three trims because it includes satellite radio, Apple CarPlay with Android Auto, heated seats, and 17-inch wheels. By the way, the fog lights are standard. Oh, and you also get the option of getting a two-tone paint job, which kind of works. Now, my tester is neither of the two mentioned. It is the top line SR, which starts at $23,398, a difference in price justified by the presence of a Bose audio system, a round view monitor, remote start, and Primatex, aka kinda leather interior seats and a leather wrapped steering wheel. Styling wise, I think this thing is very, very good looking. Nissan's V-Motion grille really works on the front end of this thing. It doesn't have, I must say, the character you might find in a Kia Soul or a few other vehicles in the segment, but that could work in its favor, being more conventional, being more tall, 5-door hatchback come crossover. Let's look at the utilitarian aspect of the vehicle, okay? So the trunk is a hit and miss. I will explain. So that reveals, according to Nissan, 716 liters of trunk space. I don't see all of it, kind of, but it is fairly deep and fairly tall. But there is one issue if you want to lower the seat. I will demonstrate that right away. You may have seen, look at that. So the load floor is not flat. Now that's a big issue, I think, for a lot of people who want to enter some larger items. Okay, but speaking of larger items, the rear bench is very spacious, easy to get in and out of. Look at the legroom. This is a tiny little vehicle, and that's my driving position, and a handsome dash, I might add. Plenty of elbow room. Headroom is very decent for the vehicle. You could potentially squeeze 3 across. It works quite well as a 5-seater, which is not something you can say for many vehicles in this segment. You can see the Primatex material. It actually looks really good. I don't know why they gave it such a fancy name, but anyhow, there's part of the Bose audio system, which I've had on, and I really don't notice any difference. I think this is just a gadget to pretend like this is for younger people, so they get to charge a little bit more money, but you don't really get much more from it. Let's start her up because it is a billion degrees outside. Lovely digital readout on that side, your analog speedometer. Oh, and the flat bottom steering wheel is also available across the line, which is quite nice. 7-inch screen, which is lovely on this. It's a standard 7-inch screen for all the trims. Very straightforward HVAC controls. This thing works beautifully. There is nothing negative to say in here, perhaps, except for, now this bin is quite small. This is absolutely useless. The first time you'll take an on-ramp, your phone or your change will go flying. The cup holders, fine. There's a little bin back here for, say, a big gulp, but that's it as far as storage in the center console. And, well, that's because you have adjustable armrests here, but that's not the reason why there's no storage. It's just a lack of available space, I suppose. The door bins are important, but that's about it. The driving position is actually really tall, and the sight lines aren't that bad or that great. There's a heck of a huge dead spot there when you're, say, turning a corner, but otherwise, I mean, you have that highly desirable tall driving position. fit and finish is lovely, and this part of the Primatex package with the SR, it's very lovely. It's a beautiful detail. And you know what's really beautiful? Is that driving it is just as good as looking at it and talking about it. So I'm going to stop talking, well, at least for a few seconds, and we're going to go. So I've mentioned in some past reviews, when I'm doing my crappy little videos and stuff like that, that I realize once I'm behind the wheel of a given car that I attended the launch event a year and a half ago or whatever, and essentially remembered nothing specific about that launch event. The vehicle in particular is what I'm saying. However, just over a year ago, something like a year and 2 weeks ago, I attended the launch event for the new Nissan Kicks, and I remember a lot of details about the vehicle, and quite fondly, I might add. The reason is really simple. This thing is really, really good to drive. It's surprising, because what you want to do when you see a Kicks on the road is you want to dismiss it as just some sad little inexpensive faux crossover because it's not available with all-wheel drive, and just something that you buy because you hate driving or you don't like cars or you just have to have something to get around in. But, well, that may be true, but the thing is, if you opt for a Kicks, you will have done yourself a huge favor. The best thing about this thing is the chassis. Look, it's got a swing axle in the back, independent setup in the front, but it feels so sorted, so it's unexpectedly comfortable but sporty at the same time. I mean, my roads, as always, broken, and yes, I'm going up and down, through and over and everything like that, these little bumps, but the harshness is completely filtered out. This platform is really solid, really sorted. And that is what serves as the basis, obviously, for the total of the driving experience. Steering is very light, but it loads up nicely. It's good precision. Sure, another element you want to dismiss and make fun of, small disc brakes up front and minuscule drums in the rear, but brake pedal feel is really good. Performance is more than adequate for the application. And then once more, the next element, right? Like normally aspirated 1.6 liter 4-cylinder engine, 122 horsepower, 114 pound-feet of torque, mated to a CVT transmission. But you know what? The power, now you have to get into the mindset, right? I'm not thinking McLaren 600 LT and somehow comparing them, but the performance is adequate. And it's even more so when you realize that if you're wise enough with your right pedal and you enjoy this vehicle in an urban setting where this thing was specifically designed to prosper, to grow, to whatever, and you average under 7 liters per 100 kilometers, I mean, no, the power won't blow your mind, it won't tear the doors off, and you'll never win a drag race. But it's perfectly suitable for the vehicle. And the CVT, yes, if you roll into the throttle and you stand on it for like a minute, yeah, after a while your ears will buzz because it's gonna be horrible. But in the city, you get some fake little shifts, and you know, the transmission plays around, keeps you in a semi-juicy area of the torque curve, and the performance is decent. It's actually off the line. However the CVT is geared, the cones or the belts or whatever, it feels really aggressive because it shoots off the line, but it quickly runs out of breath because the 1.6 has not much stamina. But all that said, right? Even on the highway, it remains relatively quiet in here. And again, because of the chassis setup, This thing is really stable, even at 110, 115 kilometers an hour. Gets a little bit noisier then, but yeah. And then you consider the price and the equipment, and dare I say the styling. Yeah, this thing is actually styled. I'm a humongous fan of the Kia Soul, and the new one is brilliant on every level. Not saying I would buy a Soul over this, but nor am I saying I would get this before a Soul. There's also the new Venue from Kia, Hyundai, sorry, which should be interesting. Anyhow, the bottom line is, though, bang for the buck, styling, content, and drive, the Nissan Kicks is brilliant.